Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos de nuevo a mi podcast. Esta vez estoy súper emocionado porque tengo a un muy buen amigo mío, a David Kurz. Él acaba de escribir un libro, que se llama Failure, The Truth About Failure. Y honestamente, David, y para que sepan, este podcast sí va a ser bilingüe esta vez. Vamos a hablar español e inglés, para las personas que nos escuchan. David, estaba leyendo el libro, through my flight here, y honestamente que no lo pude poner abajo. Y una de las cosas, como te estaba diciendo ahorita, que me gustó, es que tú suenas, yo que te conozco por bastante tiempo, que tú suenas real, tú suenas hablándole a uno como con las experiencias que tú has tenido en la vida de verdad. Y eso, honestamente, me pareció muy diferente y muy impactante. ¿Por qué no le dices a las personas que nos están escuchando quién tú eres, who are you, what do you bring?
Thank you. Primeramente, gracias por tenerme en el podcast. Me encanta hacer cosas como esto porque educamos a la gente, hablamos con gente. Tú sabes, hay alguien ahora mismo que está escuchando esto que necesita oírlo, ¿verdad?
Así es.
Mi nombre es David Kurz. Yo estoy vendiendo real estate ya 18 años. Estoy haciendo coaching y consulting ya más de 10 años. Tenemos una compañía que se llama The Freedom Organization. Es un coaching and consulting company heavily focused on the real estate and mortgage world. Y eso fue importante porque ya tengo mucho tiempo que lo estoy haciendo y por los años estoy cambiando mucho, como todo.
Claro,
como todo.
Como todo.
Uno crece, uno cambia, uno escucha cosas. Y mi esposa un día me dice, mira, tú estás haciendo shows, haciendo conferencias, tú te subes a un stage y captivas a todo el mundo y todo el mundo está bien feliz, pero you're not humble enough, me dijo.
De verdad.
Y yo no sabía cómo hacer eso. Después de 9 años en los Marines y tú sabes,
Sí.
Y uno sale como voy a abrir mi mente para poder abrir mi corazón, para poder hablar con gente de lo que me ha pasado real.
Exacto.
Y eso fue que empezó este libro, y este libro me tomó más de 3 años escribir.
Sí.
Por lo que pasó en mi vida, por lo que estaba pasando. Es como en 2020 yo empecé a escribir el libro, y era como Dios dijo, no es tiempo todavía. Me dio algo para pasar, para poder escribir mejor, para poder ser más amable, para poder darle más de mí a la gente. Y eso fue culpa de mi esposa, le doy toda la culpa, le he hecho la culpa, porque tú sabes, ella siempre me dice, tú tienes una historia, tú tienes algo que te hizo la persona que eres hoy.
Sí.
Y tú necesitas decirle eso a la gente. Y eso fue mucho con lo que puse en el libro. Y te digo que todavía estoy, formándome, tú sabes, porque el libro tiene mucho, pero no tiene todo. Y como yo tengo paradas todavía que me dicen, no, cuidado, no hay que hablar de eso, no hay que decir eso,
Sí. Y mira, y tú sabes que hablando de eso, porque esto yo creo que es muy importante y es una de las cosas que tú hablas en tu libro, de un supportive partner, de una persona y yo obviamente entiendo eso porque gracias a Dios mi pareja también es súper supportive, y eso ayuda mucho. Háblanos un poquito de eso, cómo ha sido la influencia de tu esposa.
Sí, yo he tenido los dos. Yo he tenido el partner que no cree en nada que tú estás haciendo.
Sí.
Y mi mente es loco. Es verdad. Yo a veces me levanto y digo, ¿tú sabes qué? Yo voy a hacer una conferencia a 250 personas. Y mi esposa me mira y me dice, ¿cuándo? Y yo digo, lo hacemos en 2 meses. Y me mira, ay Dios mío. Y ella se va caminando. Con mi ex, eso sería, tú eres loco, tú no sabes qué hacer eso, bla, bla, bla. Y yo me río con mi mamá también, tú conoces a mi mamá.
Claro, sí.
Yo me río con mi mamá también porque yo le digo, es la forma de mujer latina,
Sí.
que no es hecho así. Y le digo, porque desde niño es, no, bájate de ahí, no toques eso, no te apea de ahí, y yo digo eso porque no hay un latino en Olympic skier o sport, motorcyclist, porque todo el mundo tiene miedo.
Claro.
Va a salir mami por cualquier lado y decir, no, bájate de ahí.
Es verdad.
No,
y tú sabes que ahora que estoy pensando, tienes razón, porque eso es un mindset. Al final es como
mindset.
una grabación que se le queda a uno ahí atrás. Entonces, claro, tener una pareja que le diga no, Es como reconfirmando
lo que pasó cuando eras niño.
cuando eras niño.
¿Verdad?
Exacto.
Y yo tenía un ex así, que era fuerte así, que uno no sabe lo que está haciendo, que tú sabes vende casa,
Sí.
tú sabes, y no te deja crecer, no te deja salirte de tu shell, de hacer algo nuevo. Y con mi esposa, estoy con ella, gracias a Dios, casi 9 años estamos juntos.
Sí.
Y en esos 9 años yo he hecho unas cosas locas.
Sí.
A mí, y ella está ahí mismito, ok, tú quieres hacer esto, vamos a hacerlo.
Sí.
Tú sabes, y es como, wow, este es mi tercer libro.
Y te ayuda a planear hacerlo, porque no es vamos a hacerlo nada más, es vamos a hacerlo y te voy a, porque vamos a hacerlo, te lo digo yo,
Yeah.
¿no verdad? Es vamos a hacerlo y te voy a apoyar y te voy a ayudar a hacerlo.
Y sí, mira, en el libro yo digo support. So puede ser un partner que te dice, good job, good
Claro.
job. Aunque sea malísimo que estés haciendo, que te dice good job, good
Sí.
job. Pero también cuando estoy mal, ella me dice que estoy mal.
Claro.
Y eso es importante
Que eso
también.
es importante, que tú no quieres un army of yes men, porque
No.
eso también, eso me pasó a mí hace mucho tiempo atrás cuando estaba el mercado altísimo, que tenía un army de yes men,
Yeah.
y eso no ayuda, ¿no verdad?
No,
Eso es lo que
¿por
te
qué? Cuando el market cambió, ¿qué pasó con
Sí,
todo?
exacto, yo no creí, yo dije, pero ¿cómo me están diciendo que no? ¿Cómo puede ser?
Ya,
Exacto.
ya.
Sí.
Y con ella me apoya, me ayuda, también me dice cuando estas cosas ella no lo ve, entonces, y yo me fajo con ella a veces, no, porque tú no estás viendo el foto más grande, tú sabes,
Sí, sí, sí.
Y ella me dice, no, bájate de ahí un segundo, vamos a hablar.
Vamos a hablar.
Pero no es, no puedes,
No.
es, vamos a hablarlo, vamos a planificarlo, vamos a hacerlo bien, vamos a mirarlo bien, y después a terminar muchas veces. Sí, ella tiene razón. Y después que no vea este podcast. Y que ella tiene razón. Y cuando lo miramos me dice, ok, maybe no en 60 días, pero en 120 días podemos
Claro.
hacer lo que queremos hacer.
No, eso está excelente. Y mira, y una cosa, this is something that I learned actually a very long time ago with one of my coaches, Todd Duncan, that he's pretty famous on the morning. And the first thing he teaches you is you need to find your why.
¿Ya?
Y eso cuando yo leí eso en tu libro, de verdad que me impresionó mucho, porque yo dije, wow, es increíble como los coaches cuando son coaches de verdad, eso es lo primero que se enfocan. So, háblanos un poquito de eso.
Cuando yo empecé de coach, en mi mentalidad es, todo el mundo tiene que ser un top producer, todo el mundo tiene el poder, todo el mundo quiere trabajar fuerte, todo el mundo bla, 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 bla. Pero eso no es verdad. Hay gente que quiere coaching que no quiere ser top
No
producer.
quiere.
Quieren ser suficientes para vivir la vida que quieren
Así
con
es.
su familia, con viajar, cosas así. Y yo empezaba con el negocio siempre. Y cuando tuve este coach que empezó conmigo, empezó con el why, y ella no me dejaba. Yo no me recuerdo qué puse en el libro, pero hace como una semana yo estaba mirando las notas con ella.
Ajá.
7 semanas con ella, todavía trabajando en el why.
En el lugar. Sí.
No llegamos a nada más.
Sí.
Y yo tenía miles de cosas que quería hablar con ella, ¿verdad? Pero oye, ¿por qué seguimos en esto? ¿Por qué seguimos en esto? Y ella me dice, well, you're not ready yet, me dijo. You know? Y después de eso yo entendí muy bien. Y entendí por qué. Porque cuando yo empezaba con clientes, con el negocio primero, ellos me daban todas las cosas que querían hacer con su negocio. Y después ahorita hablamos del why. Y después, ¿qué pasa? Cuando uno te explica el why, cuando uno lo conoce bien, cambia el negocio.
Claro.
So, hay que empezar.
Porque ese es el pull, eso es lo que te hace
Ese
levantarte.
pull.
Esa palabra, como la tuya, yo sé que es freedom porque la pusiste en
Yeah.
el libro, pero esa es la palabra o la frase, el phrase that helps you wake up in the morning, for real,
Every morning.
every morning.
Every morning I wake up in the morning and I put my feet on the ground and I look up and I go, it's a freedom day.
It's a-
That's what I say.
I love it.
For me, that's my affirmation. I say nothing else. There are people that go in front of the mirror. I am great. I am special. I am this. I am that. And that's great.
That's
Do
great.
that. But for me, all I have to say is it's a freedom day. That is it. Because for me personally, that encompasses everything.
100%.
You know? And it lets me know I can't fail today.
No.
Because then my freedoms go away.
Right. Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, I know the approach that you have on failure too, and that's something I wanted to touch on, just because it's something that I have to deal with, and I think a lot of the people in the world have to deal with, and that is the part of unforgiveness weighing on you, right? because especially I know for me, I'm a perfectionist. I want things to be done a certain way. I know the success I want to have, and then if I don't make it to the goal, you punish yourself. You're like, I didn't do good enough. I fail, and what do you have to say about that?
I typically tell people that it's okay sometimes to feel bad, right? Because it's a human response.
Correct.
Right? You're disappointed in what has happened, but you can't swim in it forever, right? So I tell myself, I give myself 5 minutes. That's it. You get 5 minutes to soak. You get 5 minutes to boohoo.
Correct.
After that, figure it out.
Right.
Figure it out. Because if you look, I've known you for a long time, and the entire time that I've known you, you've been in the mortgage industry.
Correct.
Right? It's a long time.
It's a long time.
I'm talking about 2 decades or more. Right?
97.
And so think about this. How many market turns have you been through? How many losses have you had? How many times did you look at this and go, bro, why am I doing this?
100%.
Right? But you're still here. You're still here. We're doing your podcast. You've got an office. There's a beautiful view out here. You're still here. You're still doing it because you never quit.
Because
it's that simple,
100%.
Right? And so here's the problem. We live in a world where people are told that they should fail forward, that every failure is a step forward. But that's not necessarily true, because the true definition of failure means you quit.
That sounds painful.
It's very painful.
It's painful,
right?
Yeah.
So do you remember The Secret?
Yes,
that was very popular,
100%,
right?
yeah.
And it was you whatever you want to manifest, say it out loud to the universe.
Correct.
Right? And so the more you want to manifest, the more you say it out loud to the universe. And so you would say, I want money. And then The Secret, if you read the book, it would say that's the wrong way to do it. Because you'll get money, you'll get an FPL return for 52 cents because you overwrote a check, right? Money will come from different places,
right,
but maybe not from your business.
Right.
So to be extra specific with what you desire, we're actually, by saying that, we're actually manifesting failure.
Correct.
We're telling the universe, in order for me to succeed, I must fail. And that's something I want to battle, because all the greats say, Tony Robbins, and all the greats that we all follow for motivation and effort, and this, failure's a must. You need failure to succeed. No, you don't.
You know.
Now, do you need things to happen that will create adversity in your life so that you can learn some lessons? Of course.
100%.
Of course, because you can't go through life winning and winning and winning. You'll never learn a lesson,
That's right?
But it's not failure if you learn from it and continue to succeed. So I was posed with the question once on stage. Well, what if I own a restaurant and the restaurant shuts down and I move into the real estate industry? Well, my restaurant was a failure. And I go, was it really? I go, did you fail? Or are some of the lessons that you've learned from owning that restaurant applied to your real estate business today and making you more successful?
Right.
And he goes, yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Because yes, the restaurant didn't make it, but you didn't fail.
You didn't fail.
You didn't fail.
You have to. It's like you have to gather yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, some people liquid, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, it's like, what did I learn from this experience, and what can I do to make it better the next time? To learn from that instead of looking at it as a failure.
Exactly.
It just, even the word hurts.
And the word is painful, and then because people accept it,
right,
you have several different types of people. One of those people are the people that see failure and they soak in it for weeks.
Correct.
And that's time lost. Time is the one thing we cannot get back, right? Mm-hmm. The wins we can get back, but time we can't get back. So if you're going to soak in it for weeks, you're already messing up.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then you have the young entrepreneur. The young entrepreneur is coming into the world listening to this. The 19-year-old that just got his mortgage license, he's coming to you and he's ready to fail.
He's ready.
That's true. He's ready to fail.
Yeah.
Right? Like, tell me what I gotta do, and if I mess it up, I learn a lesson. No, bro, we're not messing up people's mortgages. You're messing with their dream
and their livelihood.
And their livelihood.
That's right.
Right? So this is about mentorship, really.
Yeah.
Right? So what if that 19-year-old came in here, looked at you and said, Emmanuel, listen, I will work for you for the next 6 months at no cost. I live with my mom. She takes care of everything. They'll give me gas money. I'll work a second job to do my own stuff. Mm-hmm. But for the next 6 months, I will be here from 9 to 1 or something like that. And I just want to do work for you.
And I will tell them yes, right away. 100%.
That's true mentorship,
That's
right?
100%. Yes, that's true.
Because that person at the end of those 6 months becomes your winning team member.
It's true. It's true.
I mean,
because they really want it.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing that a lot of people, have a misconception. I think people that are successful, they want to share with other people on how to become successful, right? So yo siempre le digo a las personas, don't be scared to ask me, or I'm sure you're the same. Okay, what are the steps? Okay, because there is a formula, right?
There is, and it's the same formula no matter what business you're in.
That's right.
And I've really done the research on this, and especially with coaching, because our company is expanding into other industries. Mm-hmm. And so we're coaching plumbers right now. We're like people who own plumbing companies that go, hey, I want to dominate the city. Mm-hmm. They don't want to just word of mouth it. And every business you're in my second book I wrote, it doesn't matter if you're selling bicycles, lollipops, or real estate, it's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. It's lead flow, sales, and follow-up.
That's right.
That's it, right? Then the other piece is customer service and likability, right?
That's right.
And then after that, everything else, social media, this podcast, it's a plug-in.
It's a plug. Right.
It's a plug-in to create the consistency of lead flow, sales, and follow-up. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you finish this podcast, what do you do with it? Distribute it
to as many people as I can.
Right. Exactly. So that's going to create leads. It's going to add to your follow-up because all your former clients will get a copy of this, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the win is, and that's where people are not really truly understanding and plugging it in. They think, let me become a social media influencer and it'll come. Remember the old movie, if you build it, they will come, right?
If you build it, they will come, right?
It's not true. If you work for it.
So, let's talk a little bit about your coaching, because that, obviously that's part of this whole thing. What's the philosophy on your coaching program?
I have a tough philosophy because I decided one day that our coaching company was going to shift into a more in-your-face directive coaching platform. Okay. And so if you're looking for somebody to coddle you and make you feel good about what you're doing every day, I'm not the guy.
You're not the coach.
Right? And so what I decided was I was going to take what I learned in the Marine Corps, and I was going to take what I learned in real estate and what I've learned from coaches and mentors and everybody else, and I was going to find a way to merge it together. Okay. But I want it to be 50% Marine Corps, 50% business. Okay. And the reason for that is because I believe that there are certain disciplines that the military offers that is equivalent to a very high-producing, high-activity.
It's a proven method,
top
right?
person in any industry, right?
Yep.
And so our philosophy is that you need to be held massively accountable for your actions, not by me, but by yourself, right? And so when I hold you accountable, I make sure you hold yourself accountable.
Is the knocking 200 doors part of it? That's I told that to my partner, and I said, David makes the new realtor knock 200 doors. And he's like, I think that's a great idea.
But think about the methodology behind it. At the end of 200 doors, 200 new people.
Correct.
You have some market knowledge. Mm-hmm. You know what the old realtor did right and what the old realtor did wrong. You know if they know their realtor or not.
That's right.
And you know how long they've been in the property, and you know if they're ready to sell or not. And there's so much information that you absorb by connecting with 200 people. But it's a contact sport, right? We say it all the time. Sales is a contact sport. In order for us to connect, we have to connect.
Right. And not only keep connect, but also stay connected. Right. And which brought me to one of the things, and we have the same issue in the mortgage business is, do you remember who your realtor was for that transaction? And I know in mortgages it's I think 70% of the people don't remember who their mortgage person was.
It's actually more in real estate.
It's more in real estate. So what are the percentages?
It's so 90% of people will say they would use their realtor again, but only 20% of them remember who their realtor was.
That's
so 80% don't remember.
Okay.
Right? So 80%, there are people there that are saying, I would absolutely use them again if I knew who they were.
Right. Exactly. Which is sad. And the thing is that people think it needs to be a super expensive CRA method or something like that to stay in touch with people. It's not, right?
Sometimes it's just knocking on the door to say hello.
It's knocking on the door,
right?
or picking up the phone.
Pick up the phone. Don't send a text, please, for love. Actually pick up the phone and say hello to somebody.
Yeah,
You know, create the voice. There's a psychology to relationships, right? And I break them down in thirds. And so a third of it is physical touch. Another third of it is seeing somebody.
Right.
And another third of it is hearing them. And that's why if you can get 2/3 of this done, you can feel like you have a relationship with somebody. So for instance, there's somebody that you follow on social media that you're a huge fan on, and you feel like you have some sort of relationship with them because you know them. Right? Because you can see them and you can hear them.
Correct.
And that's 2/3 of it. The day that you meet that person, shake their hand, and they sit down with you and have a cup of coffee, game over. Right? So this being able to have people hear you, have people see you, and have people physically get in front of you, it's what makes you different than anybody else.
Yeah. And I do like that video messaging thing, you know, I think that's awesome, you know, and I'm giving people a little bit, because there's so much in the book. I mean, seriously, there's a lot. But there's like little nuggets that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take that, you know, right? Instead of doing
video messaging creates 2/3 of the action.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where it's at. If you break down the 3/3 again, and you're reaching out to somebody, a realtor sends you a client. That client, you know, you call them up, they don't pick up the phone. You send them a video message. Hey, this is Emmanuel, right? You know, David Kurz sent me your information to do a mortgage for you. You know, give me a call when you get a chance. I'd like to just have a quick conversation with you before I send you the application.
That's amazing.
This is what did that take? 10 seconds?
Not even. Right.
Yeah. And you do it in your natural element. People go, oh, what if I just got out the gym? Cool, you work out. Right? You're human. You might send that video and the other person might be leaving the gym too.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
I
I send videos and like 60% of people send me a video back.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Because they're pumped. They're like, that was the coolest thing ever. And they send you a video back. Hey, really nice to meet you, Emmanuel. I'll send you the information. I'll call you after 2:00 because I'm in a meeting. You know?
Exactly. And you know, that little thing is just like taking it to the next level. And people think, you know, there's nothing else I could do. Everything has been done. Well, not really, right?
Here's the thing. Everything that is considered old school methods of marketing and old school methods of trial has been done. However, no one's doing it real and consistently, except for high performance, high producing people.
Exactly.
Right? So like, you know, I think about the company that I'm with now for real estate, LPT Realty. The owner of the company, Robert Palmer, he's a very, very big thought process when it comes to print marketing. Right? So he says,
give those boxes.
We give away boxes, right? So our agents have marketing material for the sales of their properties. Huge. 180 something pieces of marketing to door hangers, everything under the sun, right? And he goes, yeah, you can do social media ads and people see you and fly right by you. But when you give somebody something tangible and physical, they tend to put it down on the counter for a couple of days before anything else. Yeah. And then maybe it moves from the counter to the coffee table. Then maybe it moves from the coffee table to a drawer. And every time they open that drawer, they see your face.
That's right. It's that subliminal, repeated.
Consistent.
It's absolutely
it's consistent. Right. And not that social media and marketing online is not important. It is. But these old school methods are tried and true. Right? And I just saw a show the other day. I don't know if you've seen it, Undercover Millionaire.
No, I have not.
Right. So really good show. Okay. I watched it because I wanted to see how Grant Cardone did it, because apparently...
Is it like Undercover Boss kind of?
It is, but these guys get dropped off in a town. Their identities changed. They change their names, and they're dropped off with an old truck, like a 20-year-old truck, and $100, and that's it. Sure. And the mission is that they have 90 days to create $1 million business.
Wow.
Yes. And they don't have a place to sleep. They don't have a home. They don't have anything. And so Grant did it. He created a $5.5 million business in 90 days, right? And when you listen to him talk, he said, hey, no, listen, the social media is great. He goes, but I'm nobody.
Right.
Like in real life on Grant Cardone, but here I'm nobody.
Right.
And so I have to start new. I don't have time to create a social media page that can be anywhere near what I have in real life.
Right.
He said, so I've got to go to old school methods, knock on doors, make some phone calls.
That's right.
You know, go visit people, meet with people, get 1 million no's before you get some yeses.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And that guy was able to create a place to live, get a partner, buy a building. That's incredible. It was insane.
That is insane.
But it was because he woke up every morning, and on top of that, within that 90 days, he was quarantined for 14 of those days because he got COVID during the contest,
No shit.
right? But during quarantine,
Yeah,
he was starting to feel better. He was still making phone calls.
Right, exactly. Because there's always something you could do. I mean,
Always
seriously,
something,
yeah.
right? But I think we have people that don't want to knock on doors,
No.
that don't want to send postcards, that, you know, I have bus benches, you know, people don't want to do bus benches. This way is so cheap, by the way.
Yeah,
You know,
right, exactly.
I think I paid $500 a month for 5
Yeah.
bus benches. It's nothing.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, they're starting, but I totally agree with you, and a lot of people don't understand it. And the thing is that when you say that, I hear, you know, from the coaches that I have on the mortgage side, and it's the same story over again. It's only the need of going back to basics at the end of the day.
I think more now than ever.
More now than ever.
More now than ever, right? Because look, now I'm getting on stages and I'm telling people, if you've been in the industry for less than 10 years, the only thing you know and understand is an ascending market. And ascending markets are very easy to compete with,
100%.
right?
Yes.
But when the market shifts,
Yeah.
it doesn't become as easy.
Now you really have to work.
Now you got to really
Now
work.
you have to work.
So if it took 100 calls to get one client, now it's going to take 250 calls to get one client,
Exactly.
right? And I think people are having a hard time clicking with that.
Yes, there.
You know, there's a lot of talk that many industry professionals are leaving the industry to go do something else because they can't compete.
That's right.
And that's where you have to decide, is it going to be hard or is it just going to be more work? And here's the crazy part. It takes 250 calls to get that same client. You have less competition because half the people went out,
That's right.
right?
100%.
So what would you prefer? A lot of competition or less competition?
Exactly.
I'll make more phone calls for less competition,
I think so too.
you know? And by the way, the better you get in the industry, the less competition there is, right? Because when you become top 1% in the industry, which by the way, is not that hard. If you look at the numbers, it's not that hard to get top 1%. If you become top 1% in any industry, the only people you're competing against is the top 1%.
It's the top 1%.
Yeah,
Right.
right? No one
Right.
else.
You're
You
right.
know, and if you're a real estate agent or mortgage professional listening to this right now, think about who the real big dogs are in your industry. Who's really competing with them?
That's right. You're right. That's why they have so much market share.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's true. So let's talk a little bit about LTP. I wasn't, you know, we were going to talk about the book, but I know you're a broker there. You know, what do you think make this company different? You know, I know I'm dealing a lot with the Orlando folks. You know, Josefina.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we're doing.
I
great,
think what makes the company different is they came with a different approach.
but- okay.
They offered a lot of the same stuff that you can find at some other companies, but then they added some extras.
Okay.
And so their approach is very simple. They believe in marketing.
Okay.
They believe in what they call sticky marketing, which is the print stuff. You know, they believe that every agent deserves an equal chance, right? So every agent qualifies for marketing material, not just the top producers or the luxury people or this and that, right?
Yeah.
Every agent has luxury opportunities,
Okay.
right? So it's not a company that created a luxury department that requires you to have
Right.
certain stats.
Yeah. And
It's a
that's like
company
their
that
own
said,
little.
right. It's a company that said we're gonna have a luxury collection, and regardless of who you are, if you end up with a luxury listing, it qualifies
know
for the
that.
collection, right?
Okay.
And then more than that, it's a company that said we're gonna be real estate first. And so for a company that offers recruiting, residual income, marketing, and all the bells and whistles that everybody wants today, it was a very strong message. If you're going to be with us, you have to sell real estate. We are real estate first. And so all the training, all the efforts, all the money spent, everything that he buys and builds and does for the agents in his company is very much focused on helping them sell more real estate. That is it.
That's
It's
it.
that plain and simple. And that message is very loud throughout the company.
Throughout the company.
And I think that's what makes the company
So it feels
special.
more of an even
Keel across the board.
keel across the board,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and you don't feel like something is not reachable, which is what I see a lot of the. I mean, not of course, most of my business comes from real estate agents and builders, but I do see that that there's an area that it seems very unreachable. So
Yeah.
that's
And I think when you do that, you alienate agents.
you do.
Right?
I
You
think so.
alienate people. Like imagine in this office if there was like that back corner over there was only for like the black card members, right? Like
Yeah.
people who sell 1,000 mortgages a month, they get to hang out over there.
Yeah.
And then like the 19-year-old comes in and sees that, and they're not allowed to talk to them,
Right.
sit over there, hang out over there, right? You're alienating them.
Yeah.
And that works in some situations. Like when you go to the airport, you see the American Express,
Yeah, right.
that works for that.
For that type
Because they're selling American Express
Correct.
card. But what we're selling is completely different.
Yes.
As a company, for our agents, for our lenders, for whomever, we're selling the opportunity to create a lifestyle for yourself, regardless of what that is. If you're the single mom with 3 kids that only needs to make 60, 70 grand a year, or you're the lunatic that wants to make 170 grand a month,
Right.
you know, like whoever you
Like
are,
us.
it doesn't matter. Right. Yeah. You know, like I look at my wife and she looks at me so I took Sunday and I did some soul searching. Right.
Okay.
And I like to do this every once in a while. And what I do when I soul search is I write out all the details of each of the businesses that I control.
Mm-hmm.
And then I write out my personal life. You
Okay.
know?
That's it.
And then I start soul searching and looking at it and going, do I really need to do that?
Right.
Like, is that really going to create a return on investment or a return on time? So I put little red question marks on it. And I have this digital whiteboard that I spent ridiculous amount of
I saw
money.
it.
love
I saw it.
I
That
love
looks cool.
That's
I mean,
my baby.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm such a nerd.
So-
I love it.
So it does. It's good. It's
Oh
good.
my
Because I've
God,
seen
it's
it, and I'm like, do I need to get
It's
that? Do I need
amazing.
it?
It's amazing. Now, it's hard to move around with.
Yeah. Well,
It comes here and it stays here,
Okay.
you know? But man, I did that, and then I started attaching income goals to each of the companies.
Right.
Personal income goals. So we set up, company goals, but what's the personal takeaway on each of those companies?
okay.
Right. So because, I obviously we have the Freedom Organization, which is coaching consulting. Then I still run and operate a real estate team. I'm still recruiting for the brokerage.
Yes, you are.
And then another piece that's very quiet is we own a digital marketing agency.
Okay.
And so taking each piece and then I put them in levels, right? Like this one is more important than this one, right? Because you have to level yourself out. There's no balance. There's no even balance. You got to figure it out.
You gotta figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when my wife walks in and she looks at the numbers and she goes, "Oh shit, here we go again."
But she's ready to be the trooper.
She's ready to
That's
go.
the thing.
She's
Yeah,
ready to go.
that's
She's
the-
ready to go.
So, with your coaching, I know that with the last conversation that we had, that's inspiring you a lot, right? Like you feel like I feel I coach some of my folks, personally, and it does bring another level of satisfaction.
It really does.
To what you can give out, right? So what is your ultimate goal, you would say, with your coaching platform?
Our slogan at the Freedom Organization, or our mission, it's very clearly stated on our website. It says our mission is to impact the lives and businesses positively of over 1 million people.
Okay.
And that's the goal. The goal is, how can I impact you? And sometimes that will be you sitting at one of my conferences or seeing me on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that would be by joining our online academy that we have, at a monthly fee.
Okay.
Or sometimes that would be coaching with me or one of my coaches, right? And so the impacts, the bigger pieces are having somebody walk up to me at a conference and going, "Hey, by the way, I saw you speak 5 years ago and you changed my life." And that impacts me. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Me too.
Like
I think that's the ultimate reward,
that's
right?
the driver,
That
man.
is.
That's the
100%.
driver. That guy never coached with me, never paid me for a thing,
No.
never joined my academy, never did anything. He saw me one time on
Yeah.
stage, took a few notes and adapted it to his life and business, changed his life and business. Sees me 5 years later and I'm walking on the stage and he screams, "Hoorah!" because that's something I say from stage. I'm not even on the stage yet. And I look over and I go, "Well, somebody's seen me before." You know?
Right. Wow, that's definitely an ultimate reward.
Yeah.
Two things before we go, and just because obviously this is a very different market, and you're right. With the time that I've been around, I've had to adapt to different types of what type
Gotta
of
shift.
investor, first-time buyers. Now it's foreign buyers. Now it's new build. So people ask me, what do I specialize in? It's like I kind of specialize on it all. But what do you say to two people that are listening to this? The realtor right now that had a fantastic 5 years, and now you call them and they're like, "I have only sold 2 houses this year, or 3 houses." What would you say to that person?
There's a couple things I would say. First off, I would say they need to shift in their market area. So
Okay.
find a market area that has more property available. And a lot of times people want to sell their backyard, and that's cool. Or a lot of times people want to sell what's fancy, like Coral Gables. I want to sell Coral Gables, right? But if Coral Gables doesn't have any inventory and it's not moving, and they're 8-month-old, 9-month-old, 12-month-old on property, you need to get out of there and go somewhere where properties are on hold for 90 days, right? And so reevaluate your areas. If you got to drive 30 minutes to a showing, suck it up, buttercup. You know what I mean? And so that's the first thing I say. The second thing I say is to niche down, right? So find someone you can talk to. But more than that, do the market research to find out if that person's even buying real estate right now. Right. So if I was in a different position and I was a solo agent right now, I would, number one, change the area of my market share because I know where properties are moving closer to me, right? And two, I would niche down on veterans because it's still the number one best loan available out there.
It is.
And right now with people having inventory on the market a little bit longer, they are going to be significantly more open to this type of buyer.
That's right.
Right? And so I would just be all in. I know how veterans speak, how they walk, how they talk, how they think, and I would just be all in on that,
No, and now with the, talking about our loan programs with the hometown heroes, that they get an additional, up to 5%, up to $35,000 to buy a house.
Yeah.
I'm doing actually a veteran right now, and they gave them back their earnest money. They came out with absolutely nothing.
Right.
It was really a great, like you said, definitely a great.
Yeah, I mean, I had a client buy a property in Fort Lauderdale for $1.9 million and came out of pocket $6,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
that's you can't beat that.
You can't beat that.
You can't.
Right? So I would completely change my entire business into educating veterans and educating realtors on working with veterans because I want, when my offer goes out, I want them to know that it's a viable offer.
That's right.
Right? So I would educate both sides, and then I would just consistently attack on veterans. Who's a veteran? I want to work with you. Who's a veteran? I want to work with you. This is me. This is who I am. United States Marine Corps, 9 years, blah, blah, blah. Sergeant of Marines, blah, blah, blah. I would just keep talking about it. Right. Time in Japan, time here, time in there. I would talk about my time in California, my time in North Carolina. All my social media would be completely based around people getting to know me as a veteran specialist if I was in that position. So that's what people have to niche down on. Right. I also believe that they should stop trying to step out. This is not the time to step out of who you are, right? Because we got guys who are guys and girls who are I'm going to sell, luxury property only. Well, what do you know about luxury property?
Exactly.
You need to learn that. You need to be mentored in that. You need to know the difference between Samsung and Maylene. And it's a niche.
It's a niche. And it's a different language. Just like veteran is a different language. Yeah. Just like foreign nationals is a different language. And that's true. And that's funny that you say that because, for our business, I mean, I diversify. I do business in Orlando. I do business in Corrugate.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
It's not only Miami. I mean, if it's only Miami, like you said, the inventory here for the houses is just not moving the same as before. So you definitely, and now with the train, I mean, you can get, to Orlando.
And so I think that's a luxury that you have as a mortgage lender because where you fall different than a realtor, realtors are hyper-local.
Right.
Where lenders can be statewide. Mm-hmm. You don't have to leave your office to do business in Orlando.
Yeah.
And so to the mortgage lenders that are listening, get out of your backyard.
That was my next question because a lot of our friends that do mortgages for a long time, they're also in this. Do I stay in the business? Do I know what's going on? So what will you say to them?
Yeah, expand. You have to get louder, and you have to be in front of more people, and you need to expand. You need to make yourself available.
Correct.
Right? You need to be calling brokerages everywhere in all the other cities and saying, hey, I want to be of service to you.
Yes.
And you're going to get a million no's, but you know what? If you got 5 yeses, from a brokerage that allowed you to go and do training, to meet the agents, to provide people with something, give value, right? Something I've been telling a lot of mortgage lenders, buy my book.
Yes.
And give it out to people. Right, and I tell, and they go, hey, that's a really good idea. I go, read it, make sure you are vibing with the book, like it falls in track with your beliefs.
Yes.
And if it does, buy it and then go visit realtors and say, hey man, I got you this gift, this great book, blah blah. It doesn't have to be my book, by the way. It could be Think and Grow Rich. It could be whatever's out there. But coming with value right off the bat, and helping. So Dave, I don't have enough money to buy 100 books. Cool, buy 10.
And something else, that I tell my, which you can tell me this as a high producing real estate broker, is that it's not going to be the first call. Like if I call you right now and I said, David, you want to meet for coffee? It's not going to be the first call. It's probably not going to be the fifth call, but it's going to be a call.
Yeah. So here's the crazy part. The stat says that it's 8 to 10 times before somebody even remembers your name.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So think about that for a minute. You need to touch somebody 8 to 10 times before they even remember your name.
Right.
And so what do you think it's going to take to get coffee? 15 to 17 times.
That's right.
And so, this person has to hear you so much and trust in you so much and see you so much that they actually feel comfortable leaving their office and going to a coffee shop and sitting with you.
And they usually have a lender already, because and this is what I tell my people, all top producing brokers have a lender. You cannot expect to hear the first thing they're going to tell you is, I'm working with another lender, and then give up, because...
See, but here's the thing. All top producing agents have lenders. Not all top producing agents are happy.
That's right.
And so if you don't make the calls, you'll never know who's unhappy.
That's right.
You'll never, and by the way, on the first call, they're not going to say, yeah, I'm totally unhappy. Like, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They'll take the five to 8 calls or 7 to 8 calls for them to know your name, right? And then by 15 to 16, they might say, hey, listen, you've been following up with me consistently. Truth is, I've not been very happy with the way my lender's working. I'm willing to have a sit-down conversation with you and tell you my expectations.
Exactly.
You know? And then you have to walk into that meeting. You cannot walk into that meeting and go, this is what I do.
Right.
Like I do VA, I do conventional, me.
I'm so glad you're saying this, because that's exactly what I tell them.
Showboat.
The time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't showboat. Walk in. What can I do for you? How can I help you? Right? How can I help you in your business? How can we grow together? You know? And now that's a game-changing conversation, because they're expecting for you to walk in and go, this is what I do. This is how I can, create more business. But the real, when you ask somebody, how can I help you? Oftentimes, they don't really have an answer for you.
Right, that's right.
It's something they have to think about, because they weren't expecting that.
You're right.
And then sometimes the answer is, oh man, don't worry about it. I know what you do in real estate. Like, truth is, right now I'm going crazy because I'm trying to sell my boat and this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And you're not a boat salesman. But you know what's easy? Hey, dude, send me the information. I'll post it on my social media. I'll send it to some friends that I know are boaters. Like, come with value.
That's right.
Right? Can you imagine if you help that guy sell his boat?
Oh, yeah. That's right. I mean, and that's what you want. You want a relationship. You know, you don't want just a transaction, with someone. I mean, you are, as going after the end buyer is the same thing. I mean, you want to make sure that this is a relationship you establish for life.
So we go back to the knocking on 200 doors.
That's right.
Right? Then it's follow-up phone calls. Then it's targeted social media. Then it's email campaigns. Then it's knocking on those 200 doors again. And again. And it's a rotation. You have to make it so that the 200 doors that you're knocking on can never get your face out of their head.
That's right. I like that.
The more you're there, the louder you are. It's funny, I heard a saying the other day that says, you don't have to have the best product, you just got to talk about your product more.
Right, so you can register.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
I love it. Wow, this was really valuable, and thank you for spending the time. I want to tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you, especially for your coaching.
So there are 2 ways you can get in touch with me. The easiest way is everythingdavidkurz.com. That's the easiest website you can go to. It's everythingdavidkurz.com. That'll lead you to a website that gives you all the links and information that I have. My social media is on there. My personal website's on there. Our coaching website's on there. Our Freedom Achiever Academy is on there.
Okay.
So our clients are known as Freedom Achievers. And
like that.
And so, everything's on there. Everything you want to access. If we're hosting events, it'll be on that page. If we're at conferences, it'll be on that page. So awesome. Really cool, really exciting stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it very much.
You too.
Thank you for transitioning to English.
Absolutely. Thank you.